Hello everyone! Probably you were surprised that you saw an English title on our TEPY.PL YouTube channel. We have a special occasion today and we decided to do something special to celebrate a very unique boot that we are showing today. Not many times in TEPY.PL history we had an opportunity to do something like that. Also, not frequently I have the possibility to speak in English every day. Writing articles. I hope many of you guys visit the English version of TEPY.PL frequently and are familiar with my work, or not only mine, but also with my helpers' work. Maybe sometimes I won't be so fluent in pronunciation and things like that, but let's hope that we'll go through with this video as good as it will be possible and talk a little bit about this great boot that we are showing today. Not really today, because probably many of you saw them yesterday. We probably had an article and a gallery about Magista Obra prototypes. We will talk a little bit about what prototypes are and what blackouts are, because not anyone has to know that. And the reason for making this video is really to make kind of a tech talk video, compare the new Obra to what we expect to see in the final version, to what Obra 1 was, and any other similarities that we had to other models. So let's get started. Probably you already saw the first leak of first official colorway. We don't really know if it's a first official colorway that will be the launch one, but it was the first one leaked. You probably saw it on TEPY.PL or some other football boot website. And the most important thing is not the colorway, but that we saw the way that they are built. And we can make some comparisons. Maybe before we get to that, let's talk about what blackouts really are. Many times we see blackouts on foot of mainly stars of each brand a few weeks or maybe even few months before the first official colorway is put to public. Those blackouts are meant to be for players to test them, to test if the size is right. All players, all really biggest stars have their boot made on I don't know how to say that in English, but to really craft it for their feet. Custom craft football boots, custom craft uppers, and in theory the size should be always okay. But if someone likes a different sole, or someone wants the dynamic fit color to be lower, he tests the blackouts and give his opinion to Nike and then or any other brand, and they make it a custom fit for what the player needs. And this is the blackout that we see most recently and most often. But there are also blackouts prototypes. Every boot that comes to the market is tested in many different variations of the upper, the sole, and many other things. Probably not by the best players, or not often, most often by the best players, but by some people who aren't really even professional football players, but they know things or two. A shame, too bad that it isn't me really, because I would like the job very much. It would be a dream come true. But there are some people who test the boots really way before the blackouts that the pro wears in their training sessions, way before that. And these are the boots in the develop stage. Many times they have a different upper than the final version. Even more often they have different soles, and this is a good example. You probably saw the first leak, and you saw that the sole in Magista Obra II is really different than what we have here. Here, as you know, but because it was a very popular model, it's a sole from the Hypervenom Phantom. We don't know if one or two, because they really look the same. I have a beautiful Nike ID Hypervenom 1 pair to compare, and as you all know, it's exactly the same. So it's a Phantom 1 or 2 sole. What we have here is really surprising for me, because the way I see things, many attributes of a football boot are the outcome of of few things. For example, how the upper handles the food so it doesn't move inside. For me, it's a combination of how the inside is made. Do we have a system like fly wire? How the tongue is made inside? How well can you tie your shoelaces, and many others. So, for example, if someone tests this Magista Obra and he's supposed to tell if the upper is too stiff or not enough stiff, he couldn't really give that opinion because how would you know if it's something that is a result of the upper, or that the sole is just too stiff. One thought that I have that would make sense is that someone earlier played in Hypervenom Phantom 1 or 2 and know how the quality of the boot is, and because of that he can say how the upper did in this or other aspect. But who knows, it's just a thought that I have when thinking about how those boots are tested and about the development process. Okay, the sole is different, and the main thing that really the main impression that I have, and is something that you cannot know from pictures or videos, is the softness of the upper. It's really fantastic, as you know, and this is probably something that many of you saw looking at first pictures or videos, or looking at Neymar, who wore the Magista Obra last winter, not this winter, but in season 14-15, is that the upper is very similar also to Hypervenom Phantom 1. I have a pair to compare, and it really looks the same. We have that honeycomb structure over here, but if you look closely, in the Phantom 1 we had the structure with holes in it. In Magista Obra II we have not holes, we have humps. So this is, when you look close, it's something really different, and those humps are part of the overall impression that I have. You have to keep in mind that this isn't a brand new boot. Even this Hypervenom Phantom wasn't used, but this one was. And they surely have a lot more hours on the pitch than these boots that I had 2 or 3 times on my feet did. So part of the impression is that the boot, as you know, when you play it many times, it gets not so stiff, it gets a little bit loose, a little bit softer, but still I don't believe that a brand new Magista Obra wouldn't share most of the feeling with me that the upper is really soft. And for me, that will be the main impression that people will have when putting on the new Obra generation, new Magista generation in the top version. I remember that I was on the premiere of first not Hypervenom. This is why I confused the two boots, because they're in many ways so similar. When I was on the premiere of Magista Obra in Barcelona, the first impression that I had was that it bends around your foot really nicely. It's very soft and gave me the impression that I really never had before in any other model. This will be the case here, but it will be about softness, and also not about just, you know, the basic upper softness, but when you put it on the foot, I think that those humps will make the ball feel really unique, something that we may also not had before. So this is the main impression, and I think the main innovation, and I think that will make a difference between the Magista Obra 1 and 2, because the approach is really something very different that we have here. Here it was all about the flywire, no, not the flywire, the fly knit, the Nike skin structure over here, and really it was the first boot with so-called sock, with the dynamic fit upper. And here Nike has to go a step further. I told many times that I am a little bit disappointed with the progress that Nike will make with the next generations. In Superfly 5, the main thing that I look for is the midfoot area of the sole plate, that it's a little bit not so wide that it was, and it may make a big difference. Here the softness of the upper and the structure that we have here, it may be really something that will change the way how we feel the ball. Other difference besides that, I think that the dynamic fit color, I will compare, for example, to these beautiful gold Obras from Nike ID. Of course, my size is much bigger than those prototypes, but I think that the difference is will be still visible even if we would compare two sizes of the same from the first and second generation. So the color will be a little bit lower. The structure that we have here, earlier we had some holes in the upper, some ventilation. We don't have that in the color of Magista Obra II. I don't know is that the final version or not. It may be an interesting thing. And one more thing that I put my eye on is the way that it's put together here. As we know in first Superfly and Magista Obra, too many boots here. It was made right here on the center back part, and the stitching was covered with some kind of really kind of stiff element, synthetic element that to someone gave blisters. That was the case for few people that I know. I really like the approach that Nike had in the Hypervenom Phantom 2 because they make it much more noticeable. It didn't have any extra element on top of it, and they moved it to an area which really is doesn't have minimal contact comparing to other areas of the dynamic fit color with the boot, because we have a little loose area here besides the ankle and the back of our feet. So that was nice. And in the Magista Obra II, it goes once again to the back. It has a little hole in it, so you know how much they were used. That one is okay. It's also uncovered with anything. We have a little synthetic element inside, probably you see, but it's way more flexible than in the first generation. And this synthetic part goes just to the top of the inside heel, internal heel counter. That's how do you say it. One last thing about the way that they are built is the flywire. As you may know, we talked about Magista Obra on TEPY.PL almost or over a year from now, 1 year earlier, when Neymar last winter was training in a blackout boot. Everyone thought that this is the Hypervenom Phantom 2 because we were before the premiere of the Phantom 2. We, as the only website, said that this is Magista Obra, and you may go back to those pictures. I will put a link in the description of the video, and you will see that we were right back then. And we had some information about Magista Obra II, so that's why we leaked some details about the boot during 2015. What we didn't know but assumed is that the Magista Obra II, and we said it in our text many times, and that was kind of wrong, will have flywire. Different type of flywire, because we know during years flywire changed a little bit. For example, in the Phantom 2, here is the change on the instep of the boot. It doesn't go all the way down. And as we know, Nike makes some experiments as well as in the Hypervenom finish. Or in many pro boots, the flywire system looks a little bit different. What we have here isn't flywire. It's what I see a replacement, a modern replacement for stitching. Somehow, with use of heat, Nike managed to do these extra lines. They aren't really. I can't feel anything inside the upper, between the layers of the upper, so between the Flyknit and Nike skin on the outside. It's just something that, in my opinion, makes the side of boot a little bit more stiff, but it doesn't have that element of the nylon fiber inside, which will react to what's happening on the field and what pressure, what forces are placed on the sides of your boots. So no flywire in the Magista Obra II, or maybe we saw the first colorway, and we think that exactly the same system was used there, so we won't have any surprise. unless there will be a typical sample difference, so a difference between a sample of a product in official colorway that sellers see half a year before the launch, the official release. But those changes are mainly just cosmetic, different type of a different color of laces or things like that, not in an entire system. However, we remember that the Vapor 9 had a carbon fiber sole plate or half carbon fiber sole plate as a sample, and finally it was released without any with a glass fiber sole plate. So that's it. Okay, it was really great. One thing I remembered also not so long ago, a month ago or something like that, Neymar once again played in blackouts on the training, and once again it was Magista Obra II. Something interesting you have to keep in mind looking at stars on their training pitch, that sometimes they wear blackouts of a line that isn't really their line. And Neymar is a different story because he wears mercurial vapor, really. Okay, so that's that. I'm really excited that we were able to present the Magista Obra II in this prototype. The most exciting thing for us is that it's a prototype, that it isn't released, that it has differences between what we will see in the final version. This is something that we would dream about to test by ourselves. I think that many of our readers who are very much football boots fanatics would like that also, and are happy that we will able to show you those prototypes of Magista Obra II. The English version, I hope that it wasn't too tough to listen to me, that I was able to explain everything that I had to explain to you. I would be really happy to make more videos in English, but there's not enough time, and things you can do to make me record in English and write maybe more articles is subscribing our TEPY.PL YouTube channel and leave a like under the video. Okay, I hope you enjoyed. Have a nice day.